Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sparkplugs, our family program here at Musser Public Library, where we usually, in normal times, have families here all reading, storytelling, and doing activities together. Michelle?
Hello.
Thanks for coming in again.
Absolutely.
We are so lucky and happy to have you here with us today, where we can at least share a little bit with families virtually. So, you know, someone in this room here was just asking me my sign. Is that what we're talking about today? I'm Pisces.
Yes. So we're going to talk about some of those things, but not in the astrological sense.
Okay, tell me more.
Astronomical? Not astrological, astronomical.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Well, so you know your sign, and we are going to talk about those signs as constellations, because that's originally when you were born, when the sun was behind your stars, that's sort of what you became.
Gotcha.
So we're going to talk about it in looking up at the sky, instead of here's your sign. Oh wait,
okay.
No, that's Jeff Fox.
Yeah.
So lots of really cool things. I don't know if anybody's ever looked up at the sky before. Sometimes in Muscatine we have a little bit of light pollution and you have to get outside the city limits just a little bit to see the sky. But there are literally billions of stars up there.
So tell me why you love to look at the sky, at the night sky.
Well, I love to look at the night sky because I know some of the stories that are behind the constellations. There's 88 major constellations that are named, and each culture, so whether we're talking about Greek mythology or Roman mythology or Native American mythology, there's Chinese mythology, all of them have their own stories on how those stars or those constellations came to be. And so just knowing a little bit about, wow, somebody looked up at the sky and they said, that looks like a whale. I can't really see that. So how do I get from seeing what's in a book to seeing what's up in the sky? And it's a challenge.
I bet.
And it's fun. It's absolutely fun and breathtakingly beautiful. Absolutely. So
let's start with a story.
All right. We will start with a story. And this is how the fisher went to Skyland. So the origin of the Big Dipper is what we're going to chat about.
Do I have a role in this story here?
Nope.
Okay. I get to listen.
Yep, you get to listen.
All right.
And so this is out of a book called Earth Keepers. And it's about, or Keepers of the Earth, excuse me, just different Native American stories, creation stories on how things came to be. This is a tribe out of the Great Lakes region, Anishinaabe, and I'm not really great at pronouncing those fun words, so it may be pronounced a little bit off. But it's about Fisher, and Fisher is sort of related to the weasels. We have weasels in Iowa, but Fisher was a great hunter. He was not big, but he was known for his determination and was regarded as one of the great power. Fisher's son wanted to be a great hunter also. One day the son went out to try to catch something. It was not easy, for the snow was very deep and it was very cold everywhere. In those days it was always winter on the earth, and there was no such thing as warm weather. The son hunted a long time with no luck. Finally, though, he saw a squirrel. As quietly as he could, he sneaked up on it and pounced, catching the squirrel between his paws. Before he could kill it, though, the squirrel spoke to him. "Grandson," said the squirrel, "don't kill me. I can give you some good advice." "Speak then," said the young fisher. "I see that you are shivering from the cold. If you do what I tell you, we may all enjoy warm weather. Then it will be easy for all of us to find food and not starve as we are doing now." "Tell me what to do, grandfather," the young fisher said, letting the squirrel go. The squirrel climbed quickly up onto a high branch and then spoke again. "Go home and say nothing. Just sit down in your lodge and begin to weep. Your mother will ask you what is wrong, but you must not answer her. If she tries to comfort you or give you food, you must refuse it. When your father comes home, he will ask you why you are weeping. Then you can speak. Tell him the winds are too cold and the snow is too deep. Tell him that he must bring warm weather to earth." So the young fisher went home. He sat in the corner of the lodge and cried. His mother asked what was wrong, but he did not answer. She offered him food, but he pushed it away. When his father returned and saw his only son weeping, he went to his side. "What is wrong, son?" Fisher said. Then the young fisher said what the squirrel had told him to say. "I am weeping because the wind is too cold and the snow is too deep. We are all starving because of the winter. I want you to use your powers to bring the warm weather." "The thing you are asking of me is hard to do," said Fisher, "but you are right. I will do all I can to grant your wish." Then Fisher had a great feast. He invited all of his friends and told them what he planned to do. "I am going to go to the place where the skyland is closest to the earth," he said. "There in the skyland the people all have warm weather. I intend to go there to bring some of that warm weather back. Then the snow will go away and we will have plenty to eat." All of Fisher's friends were pleased and offered to go with him. So when Fisher set out, he took the strongest of his friends along. Those friends were Otter, Lynx, and Wolverine. The four of them traveled for a long time through the snow. They went towards the mountains, higher and higher each day. Fisher had with him a pack filled with dried venison, and they slept at night, buried under the snow. At last, after many, many days, they came to the highest mountain and climbed to its top. Then Fisher took a pipe of tobacco out of his pouch. "We must offer our smoke to the four directions," Father said. The four of them smoked, and they sent their prayers to Manitou, asking for success. The sky was very close above them, but they had some way to break through into the land above. "We must jump up," said Fisher. "Who will go first?" "I will try," said the otter. He leaped up and struck the sky, but did not break through. Instead, he fell back and slid on his belly all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. To this day, all otters slide like that in the snow. "Now it is my turn," said Lynx. He jumped too, striking hard against the sky and falling back unconscious. Father tried then, but even he did not have enough power. "Now it is your turn," Fisher said to Wolverine. "You are the strongest of us all." Wolverine leaped. He struck hard against the sky and fell back, but he did not give up. He leaped again and again until he had made a crack in the sky. Once more he leaped and finally broke through. Fisher jumped through the hole in the sky after him. The skyland was a beautiful place. It was warm and sunny, and there were plants and flowers of all kinds growing. They could hear the singing of birds all around them, but they could see no people. They went further and found many lodges, and when they looked inside, they found that there were cages in the lodges, and each cage held a different bird. "These will make for fine hunting," Fisher said. "Let us set them free." Quickly, Wolverine and Fisher chewed through the rawhide that bound the cages together and freed the birds. The birds all flew down through the hole in the sky, so there are many kinds of birds in the world today. Wolverine and Fisher now began to make the hole in the skyland bigger. The warmth of the skyland began to fall through the hole, and the land below began to grow warmer. The snow began to melt, and the grass and the plants beneath the snow began to turn green. But the sky people came out when they saw what was happening, and they ran towards Wolverine and Fisher, shouting loudly. "Thieves!" they shouted. "Stop taking our warm weather!" Wolverine jumped back through the hole to escape, but Fisher kept making the hole bigger. He knew that if he didn't make it big enough, the sky people would quickly close the hole again, and it would be winter again in the land below. He chewed the hole larger and larger. Finally, just when the sky people were very close, he stopped. The hole was big enough for enough warm weather for half of the year to escape through, but it was not big enough for enough warm weather to last all the time. That is why winter still comes back every year. Fisher knew the sky people might try to close the hole in the sky. He had to take their attention away from it, and so he taunted them. "I am Fisher, the great hunter," he said. "You cannot catch me." Then he ran to the tallest tree in the skyland. All the sky people ran after him. Just as they were about to grab him, he leaped up into the tree and climbed up the highest branches where no one could follow. At first, the sky people did not know what to do. Then they began to shoot arrows at him. But Fisher wasn't hurt, for he had a special power. There was only one place on his tail where an arrow could kill him. Finally, though, the sky people guessed where his magic was and shot at that place. An arrow struck the fatal spot, and Fisher turned over on his back and began to fall. But Fisher never struck the earth. Manitou took pity on him because he had kept his promise and done something to help all the people. Manitou placed Fisher high up in the sky among the stars. If you look up into the sky, you can still see him, even though some people call that pattern of stars the Big Dipper. Every year he crosses the sky. When the arrow strikes him, he rolls over onto his back in the winter sky. And when the winter is almost ended, he faithfully turns to his feet and starts out once more on his long journey to bring warm weather back to the earth.
That is a cool story. I've never heard that story. I've heard other things about the Big Dipper, but never that one.
And you told lots of stories with
Yes.
Dave for many, many, many years.
Yes. Yeah, that is a wonderful story. I will always think of Fisher now when I see the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
And it's true, the Big Dipper, like most constellations, turn in the sky depending on the seasons.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a circumpolar constellation, which means that it's there here in our northern hemisphere all year round. So it moves, and sometimes kids are like, well, why, how is it moving? But we are moving too. The Earth is moving as well, so things look a little bit different.
Yeah.
Constellations were very important for people many, many, many years ago. Think about the people that were navigating through the oceans back in the 1600s, maybe when they didn't have all of the technology like we have today, just a few maps here and there. They used the stars. They used the North Star, that sort of as our, I know where I'm going, it's north. We still kind of use that sometimes.
Yes, we do.
And so it also was this way for cultures to tell stories, and every culture has a different story, and so that's what's really cool.
Okay, shall I go to the next page?
Yes, let's go to Canis Major, the big dog.
Okay. Well, I can see the big dog
Does
here.
it look like a dog too?
Yes, it does. It looks like a long-legged dog.
It sure does.
Yes, like maybe I don't know, a Great Dane or...
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Canis Major is the largest of the hunting dogs that had been Orion's faithful companions on Earth. And Canis Major was placed at Orion's feet in the sky so that he could continue to have his help as he chased Taurus the Bull across the heavens. There are 8 stars in Canis Major, and Sirius is the alpha star, which is also the brightest star in the whole sky.
And don't we also call Sirius the dog star?
Yes, we do, because it's in the dog constellation.
Yes. Okay.
Best view is January and February.
Okay, now here comes a fun one.
Cassiopeia. Do you know the story of Cassiopeia?
I believe she was a princess.
She was a princess who thought she was all that in a bag of chips, right?
Yes.
She was a beautiful woman who was fond of boasting about her beauty. The maidens who attended King Neptune in his underwater kingdom learned that she boasted of being more beautiful than any of them. They demanded that Neptune punish her. Neptune sent a sea monster, Cetus, who's another constellation in our sky, to terrify all who lived along the coast of the country ruled by King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia. The serpent snatched the woman and the children whom he found on shore. Troubled by this problem in his kingdom, King Cepheus went on to an oracle to find out how he could get rid of his kingdom of this horrible monster. The oracle's answer was that only if he sacrificed his daughter Andromeda,
Another constellation.
To the serpent would the maidens feel that they had been avenged for the way Cassiopeia had insulted them, and ask Neptune to recall the serpent. Cassiopeia was placed in the heavens to be punished rather than honored. She swings half every night around the North Pole, and she's upside down in the chair, in which she's seated, hanging on for dear life in a position most humiliating for a queen of old who was so proud of her beauty.
My goodness, so that just shows you don't be too proud of things that don't matter that much.
Yeah, so circumpolar also, we can see that year round, but the best time to view it is October and November. And Cepheus.
So he was in the story.
He was the king, and he doesn't really get a lot of talk in the sky because his queen took all of that away. And he's kind of a faint constellation, and he always played second. Circumpolar as well. He looks like he's upside down. I can see this looks like a king here with the hat, the body. Maybe this is a leg that sticks out here. 10 stars, and the alpha star is Alderman.
Okay.
And again, the alpha star is the brightest star in the constellation. So.
Okay, here comes an exciting one.
Draco.
Yes.
Do you know about Draco?
Well, I know that there is a really famous character in Harry Potter called Draco.
Really?
Yes. He's sort of one of the bad guys, sort of. Yeah. And it means dragon.
Yeah, Draco is the dragon. And Draco is the dragon sent by Juno to guard the golden apples, which she had given Jupiter as her wedding present to him. The dragon was a monster with poisonous fiery breath and an enchanted hide that no arrow could pierce.
That would be handy.
Ever watchful, he coiled around the tree on which the golden apples hung and would allow no one to come close except Atlas, the giant who held the world on his shoulders. To get the apples away from the dragon was one of labors Hercules had to accomplish. So Hercules had to accomplish 12 different things, and that was one of them. He went to Atlas for help, and Atlas agreed to get the apples if Hercules would take over the task of holding up the world in the meantime. Hercules could do everything, anything. Atlas enjoyed his freedom so much he ran away with the apples, and he left Hercules supporting the earth. Hercules was clever, however, and he asked Atlas to relieve him long enough to place a pad on his shoulder. Atlas fell for the trick, and Hercules ran off with the golden apples. To punish the dragon for its failure, Juno placed it as one of the circumpolar constellations, where in the northern heavens they are circulating year-round. No time to set for him.
Now, I found what I think is the alpha star. What's the name of it?
Thuban.
Say that again?
Thuban.
Thuban.
Thuban. 18
Wow.
stars, and the best way to view that is in May or June, but I think that definitely looks like a dragon. Head, tail. And Gemini. I like the story of Gemini.
Oh, the twins.
Gemini, the twins, yep.
And I see them there.
Yeah, that's an easy one to see,
Yeah,
I think.
here they are, two kids playing.
Yep. They
Red
were
Rover.
best of buddies.
Yeah.
And basically, I'll summarize this one. It was Castor and Pollux. They were twin brothers. They were inseparable, and they did not want to be apart from one another. However, they had a mom who was earthly and a dad who was one of the gods, and so one of them was earthly and immortal, and one was mortal. And so Jupiter was impressed by how close they were, that when they died, they both got to go to the sky and be together forever.
That is a cool story.
Yeah. Hercules is not on there. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But I see Orion.
This is my absolute favorite constellation. It's I think the easiest one to see in the sky, because you look for his belt. Those are some really bright stars in his belt. And he's got a great story as well.
Okay, well, tell us his story.
Greek legend tells us that Diana, the goddess of both the moon and the hunting, fell in love with Orion, the bravest hunter of ancient times. She began to neglect her duty of driving the moon chariot across the sky at night, which lit the sky, and so she could go down to Earth to hunt with Orion. When her brother Apollo heard of this neglect, he decided to do away with Orion. He shone his golden rays so blindly on Orion one day while he was swimming that he appeared only as a faint dot in the waves. He then challenged Diana to hit that tiny target with her bow and arrow.
Ooh, that was a bad trick.
Diana, not knowing what the target was, shot so accurately the arrow hit Orion and killed him. When she found his body on the shore that evening, she realized what had happened. After trying in vain to bring Orion back to life, she put his body in her moon chariot and drove him across the sky where it was the darkest. She put the body of her beloved Orion in the sky. Suddenly, the sky became bright with stars that outlined his body, jeweled belt, and glittering sword. At his foot to keep him company, she placed his two favorite hunting dogs and marked each with a brilliant star. Canis Minor and Canis Major, the big dog and the little dog. Procyon is in the little dog, and then Sirius in the big dog. So.
Okay, and we saw that one already.
Yep. And right now is a great time. Orion is prime winter habitat up there. 20 stars. All right.
This is an exciting one, too.
I think this one looks like a bull, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
The
it looks
horns.
fierce. Yes?
Yep, definitely I can see that one. So Jupiter disguised as a snow white bull came down from Mount Olympus one day to where Europa, a beautiful maiden, was playing in the meadow. The bull was so gentle that Europa climbed on its back, and then off sped Jupiter to the seashore, where he plunged into the waves and swam with his captive Europa across the island of Crete. There, Jupiter revealed himself as the king of gods and won Europa as his bride. So, bright star Alpha Aldebaran, 13 stars, yep. And again, another winter constellation, so right now it's this time of the year. Are we two the one that everybody knows?
I think so. I believe. I think which one? This one here?
The next one.
Oh, the next one. Okay.
No, this one. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Ursa Major.
Ursa Major is the big bear. Another name for that is the Big Dipper. We have the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Ursa Major and Ursa Minor.
Gotcha.
Or the Great Bear and the Little Bear. Our Dipper part of things is actually located in here. Can you see where it is?
Is it this right here?
So, Jupiter is said to have come down from Mount Olympus on many occasions to marry a beautiful earth maiden. This enraged his wife Juno. One such maiden was named Callisto. Juno decided to seek revenge on Callisto by taking away her beauty, and she turned Callisto into a mangy bear. Callisto had a son, Arcas. While Callisto roamed as a bear, Arcas grew to be a young man and a famous hunter. One day while hunting in the woods, Arcas trailed a bear and was about to shoot it with an arrow when Jupiter got involved. The bear was, of course, Callisto, his mother. Jupiter turned Arcas into a bear to join his mother. He grasped both bears by their short, stumpy tails and heaved them up into the heavens, where they landed near the North Pole. The bears were so heavy that the strain on their tails caused them to be stretched to unusual lengths seen in their heavenly constellations. As Juno saw the two bears shining brightly in the sky, she realized that Callisto, again, was beautiful. Enraged, she went to Neptune, ruler of the sea, and asked him to drive the stars of the Big Dipper away from his waters every time they dropped down near the sea, never letting them bathe in the waves.
Wow. And so here's the Great Bear, and here's the Little Bear.
Yep. And Ursa Minor, the Little Bear, is where we have our brightest star, Alpha Star Polaris, so the North Star. The Little Bear is known as the Little Dipper. One of the stars in this constellation is Polaris, the North Star, and it has been a guide star for those who sail their ships across the northern hemisphere and for those who travel all across the land. So we ended with the ones that people know the most about, and the ones that you can look at, both of those year-round, circumpolar, and it looks just like that. One of the easier ones to see, I think.
It sure is.
Back to Aruga.
Yeah, well, wow.
That was just a few that I chose.
I know, you said there's 88, right?
There's 88 of them.
That is really
and
something.
I focused on the Greek mythology. We started with the Native American mythology, but just to kind of see that each culture has its own story on how the stars came to be. And that's what's, I think, so interesting about it, because then you can start to say, oh yeah, so Canis Major, the little dog, and then there's in Native American, you can compare that to what they call it, and it's so cool. So we have kits today.
Yeah, well, I want to say thank you to you and Dave and Muscatine County Conservation for all the different things that you have made throughout the last few weeks for kids to come and pick up. I believe we've given away the very last owl pellet kit.
Awesome.
But we still have a few backyard bird kits left. So if any one of you who are watching have not gotten a backyard bird kit yet where you can make your own binoculars, please come in and ask for one. And I am excited to see another kit today here as well. So I'm going to lay the book down so I can hold this up. It has some very interesting things inside it. So I'd love to hear about it.
So the first one, we have just a little bit of, the first sheet's just a little introduction on what you need to do first to make your pipe cleaner constellations. So there are some sets of papers in here, and you're going to cut them out and then paste the stories with the correct pictures. And these are some of those constellations that we talked about and a little bit of information about them. And then you are going to use pipe cleaners to make those constellations.
Well, that sounds really fun. Would you tell me and show me how to do it?
So this one, we learned about this one.
Oh, let's see, this is the princess, correct?
This is the queen.
The queen, Cassiopeia.
Yep, and so she has to go upside down because she's boasted about her beauty.
So if I wanted to make that, how would I do it?
So you just pick out some beads. Everybody gets 25 beads, and
Okay.
then you'll have your cards here, and they're going to show you what or how to do it. Where the stars go are the dots, and then how you can bend your pipe cleaners as well.
Okay.
So let's do...
Yeah, pick one out for me.
Let's do
Andromeda?
Yep.
All right. So,
Here's mine.
all right. So I
Let's-
probably want to like make a bend in my
Yep.
pipe cleaner,
Make a little bend.
and then I want to put a bead right at the very top.
Yep,
And
so-
I can pick anything I want. Is that
Anything
right?
you want.
I think I'll use this pink one.
Anywhere you see a dot, that's where is one of the stars that make up the constellation.
Okay, so here I'll put this one at the very top, and I've got the two different legs of Andromeda, and now I want 6 more beads, and I'll have one here and 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 one here.
Yep, and
Okay.
the really cool thing about the pipe cleaners, they bend so easily, and you can reuse them. I think these come with, I don't know, dozen or more constellations for you to try on. And
So after I get Andromeda done, if I want to take all the beads off and do a different constellation, I can.
yep, or you could just make 5 with whatever you have.
Okay, so I get to choose.
You get to choose. Some of them you're going to have to put 2 or 3 pipe cleaners together, and you're going to need lots of beads.
Okay.
We think about Ursa Major, the big bear.
I was confused by that one, because that's not what I thought. I think of just the Big Dipper as Ursa Major, so I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, so that's just a small portion of it.
Yes, so I had a big learning experience there.
Yay! Let's see here. Well, I don't know if Major is in here. Here's Ursa Minor.
Okay,
But
All
so
right.
some of them you'll need more.
and here's Andromeda. Did I do it? Did I get it done?
What do you think?
I think so, but okay, so let's hold it up. Oops, maybe I want to like bend this a little more.
Yeah, I would bend it a little bit.
Okay, maybe bend them both that way. And so here we've got 2 different versions of Andromeda.
And the cool thing with these is you can make your own constellations. There's actually a piece of, on the back side here, is a create your own constellation, and you
Oh,
can
how
write
fun.
a story about how that
How
came to
fun.
be. And then we also have a sky chart. You can get these every single month. This is February, so we're in the northern hemisphere, and what you would be seeing if you looked at the dates along here. So we are, what are we on?
I think we're
The 11th?
February 11th.
Okay, so we have a new moon at 1907.
Oh, wow.
We have a new moon. And then this blue is actually the Milky Way. So you can see on this side, there is what the sky looks like in February. And then turn it over and you can look on and see what you can see with binoculars, what you can see with the telescope, and what you can see with the naked eye.
Wow.
So you can just look up and say, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can get these off the internet for free. Every single month there's a new one. They're called sky maps, and it's for everybody.
And you have included those in the packet that
We
kids
have-
can come pick up.
Yep, we have February's in there. And then you schooled me. These are called cootie catchers. The little things you go.
I think there's another name too, an official name, but I don't know what it is.
But then you can see the different stars, the different constellations that you can see in different parts of the sky in February. So this is a February cootie catcher. And then here are your sheets that have, well, you cut them out and paste the right ones to the right side with the stories and the constellations. You'll want to do that one first.
Okay.
So that then you can make your pipe cleaners.
Great.
So, yeah.
How fun. So lots of things for kids to do. You can come in and you can pick up your packet. You can take out all the information, make your cards, choose which constellations to make and get out your pipe cleaner and make those, and also invent your own constellation, write a story about it. If you do, we would love to have your story.
Oh, that would be great.
And we would love to share it with you.
Yeah, and there are so many good books out there. We've picked out a few little story books, but this is definitely a topic that's very far-fetched.
Yeah, lots of books out there. If you want any help with constellation books or anything in the heavens or any information at all, please come ask us and we'll help you find what you want. All right, well, thanks for coming today, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
All right, will you be out looking at the sky tonight?
Yes. Every night it's clear I look at the sky.
That's great.
Yep.
All right, well, if I go out tonight, I'll be thinking of you.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye, everybody.